Good morning, everybody. Welcome once again to BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Matthew, a fabulous Thanksgiving holiday adventure for me. Had a zillion people in my house. The bird, the turkey, was as good as it gets. Had candy yams. You ever had candied yams? What?
You can't. Now you can hear me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was snickering. You don't like people. You don't like people in your house. You come out and spend every single minute in the studio when you have extended family over.
Yeah.
You
No, it was a
almost
good
had
time.
me believing that you enjoyed it. Look at you. Seriously, the only
It was a good
reason
time, man.
only reason there was a Major League Baseball level batting cage at your old house was because you had extended family come visit for 4 days and you spent 19 hours a day building that thing that started the time they arrived and then you
Dude,
finished
you are-
it the day they left.
You are reaching.
That's the truth.
You are reaching.
Oh,
I had a
come
great
on.
time.
What, is everyone
great time.
watching or something? Did you
No,
have
no,
extended
no,
family tune in for the show?
No. It was a good time.
Did
man.
you cook a turkey?
No, Carolyn did.
Carolyn knows how to cook the turkey?
I'm going to tell her you said that, man. She's going to come after you.
Okay, maybe this is old school, but it's just always typically the guy goes, you stand around, you drink beer around the turkey,
Yeah.
and the ladies are in the kitchen getting all the other good stuff.
No. Dude, it is a process.
Deep fried outside,
No,
inside,
no,
grill,
no, it's
oven,
Baked.
from like a raw turkey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
How many people did you have over?
Wow. 18?
Oh, you had to be miserable. You can't stand me in the studio most of the
18
time.
people, man. No, it's all good. It's
All
all
right,
good.
well.
The nephews, they're kind of grown up.
I guess
Not
you get a
grown
little
up, but, I mean,
sentimental when you hit 56.
Yeah. It was all good, man. Great food, good conversation, a lot of football. Crazy OU game on Friday.
The whole weekend was crazy.
And it's just insane. So, good show today. We're going to kick off the week after the holiday with Gary Clouse going to talk a lot about what he has going on from a business perspective, from a fishing perspective, and really looking forward to hearing what he had to say about, he was in and then he was out and then he's on the Elite Series. Where do we go from here?
I was talking a little bit with you guys about this before the show when we were getting everything dialed in. Would you not agree that he has probably one of the top 5 unique perspectives on the industry in the world?
Yeah, because he's involved with every aspect.
He started, with Stratus and Triton, and then he started Phoenix. So he's been with Phoenix. He's the president of Phoenix.
Yeah.
He has fished 80 BASS events, has fished the Opens religiously since, 2010,
Yeah.
2011.
Yeah.
He has a top finish in an FLW Series event. He's fished Major League Fishing for
PAA
3. He's
back
the
in the day.
2012 PAA Angler of the Year. He
Yeah.
committed to MLF. Then he qualified for the Elite Series when they had it. Now he's fishing the Elite Series. Still
Yeah.
a big fan of Major League Fishing. But we're going to talk to him about some of the decisions that he made, and then his decision to go with the Elite Series, and a businessman who can catch him.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to ask this question every show because I know you talk to a lot of people. Have you talked to anybody over the holiday that said that they're fishing Major League Fishing, the MLF Tour, that they're going to try and fish the Opens?
No.
Still nobody.
No, I mean, I don't talk to that many. I mean, a lot of guys are still in a deer stand and still on vacation. This is
Okay.
like their week to kind of be on vacation.
I get it. But I'm going to ask
Caleb
every show.
Summerall. We're going to have him on next week.
Hey,
he was at Disney World.
If you hear of anybody that has made that call and made that decision, we want to know. I'm really curious on that one.
Will do.
All right. The other thing, big news that came out, what was it, yesterday? Is that true?
Yesterday.
The field was announced for the FLW Tour, and over 200 guys, Matthew.
Yeah. Oh. How is the FLW Tour going to fill their field, Mark? They're charging
lined
full
up,
entry
man.
fees. They came out
They
and
were
said that they're
lined
not
up.
altering their payouts.
There's
going to be 10 guys over there.
They probably could have filled it to 300.
I'll read the key sentence out of that. It said there was enormous demand to compete on the 2019 FLW Tour, with 210 anglers registering for a slot in the prestigious tournament circuit on its final year of priority registration before switching to a strict qualifying process of 150 pro field in 2020.
150?
It says to accommodate all anglers earning priority entry through the 2018 FLW Tour.
Yeah.
2000 FLW Costa Series, BFL All-American, Yeti College Fishing National Championship, and TBF National Championship plus sponsor entries. The 2019 FLW Tour field will feature 170 pros.
Almost 200. That's not close to 200. I thought you told me there were over 200.
There were 210 registering for a slot.
Okay, but they ended up going with 170?
Yeah, it says FLW will survey all 170 participating pros to finalize the 2019 payout structure, since it was based on 150 pros. So you got 170, but out of that, you've got, I believe the number is 39 rookies?
Hey, we both mentioned on previous shows, this is probably going to be the most competitive Rookie of the Year contest on the Elite Series and on the FLW Tour. Because of the number of rookies.
And I'm assuming is there going to be a Rookie of the Year on MLF?
Probably. I don't know.
Is everybody a rookie on the MLF Tour? We need to find that out.
I would think not.
Okay.
But who knows? Who knows?
A lot of guys from all over. I mean, I see South Africa in here.
All over the place. Yeah,
New York, Minnesota, Canada. So the South Africa kind of piques my interest. That's the first time. Michael Matthey.
Yeah.
So you got the All-American champ in there. I
did
did not recognize a lot of the rookie names. Interesting there. I see Ryan Salzman from Alabama. You know how I know him? I believe I was on the World Series of Bass with him in 2012.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, very interesting. Now, there are a lot, and we are based in Oklahoma, so we're obviously going to notice that. But we pointed out in an earlier show that there are only 2 Oklahoma anglers that are fishing on the Elite Series, but there are
5, 6
on the tour.
Yeah,
no, there's like 10 there. You got Ashmore, you got Jay Brainerd, dude, fished the Elite Series, guided up on Mille Lacs. He's coming back down. Sheldon Collins, Kyle Coriana, Jeff Dotson, Derek Fulps, Brad Hallman, Jimmy Houston, Brandon Mosley, Daryl Robertson, Andrew Upshaw, originally from Texas, and Chad Warren's back on the FLW Tour after not fishing this past year. So a good contingent of FLW Tour anglers and a couple, I guess, headliners now on the tour based on the names. You would have to put Daryl Robertson and Brad Hallman in there. Two of the bigger names. And obviously Jimmy Houston, who's a legend, but of those 3 of those guys are what I would consider, guys people come to see.
Nixon.
Yeah, but I was talking about from Oklahoma.
I got you. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. All right, a couple of housekeeping items real quick. David in Wisconsin wants to know how much money you spent at the tackle store.
Did not get
on your
to
trip.
Go.
You
Did
didn't
not
go?
get to go. Well, I got home Wednesday, had to go see my buddies in the military who was home. Then I had to go see my other buddy, Darren, who I fish with all the time. Then we had Thursday, left 5 a.m. Friday to go to Cincinnati to spend time with cousins and stuff, and then got back late Saturday night, and I left early Sunday morning. So,
all right. We have about 5 minutes before we're going to take our only break and bring Gary in live via Skype. But we got into a very interesting conversation before the show about the selection process on how the 4 teams are going to be selected for the national championship playoff in football. Before we get into that real quick, and that will probably be a carryover to Thursday also, I want to ask you this. TJ from North Carolina made a point. He's calling out the Zags. They beat Duke. Mm-hmm. All right. To take over number 1 in college basketball. And this is the only basketball talk we're going to have. I may ask Gary a question.
You're going to talk to Gary about it.
Because he's a basketball guy. Anyway, the way that I'm going to refer it back to it is what is the bigger story? The fact that the underdog wins or that the giant went down in defeat? From a fishing standpoint, what is the bigger story? If KVD doesn't catch him on Kentucky Lake, or some rookie ends up beating KVD?
Well, it depends on how it goes down.
Well, just standard.
If KVD's leading and then he falters and then the rookie overtakes him on the final day?
Yeah.
Boy, that's a good question.
Yeah. Is the story, did KVD, and I'm not going to call it choke, but didn't pull through for victory?
And we're just using him as a big. He's Duke.
Exactly. All
Okay,
right?
that's a good point because I feel like we're really nice to guys in the fishing industry.
Yeah.
Remember when Tiger sucked? The headline was Tiger
Oh, yeah.
sucks.
By the way,
not
that pay-per-view or whatever, the Mickelson
Yeah.
Tiger, what a farce.
Anyway, the point was,
But-
when Tiger sucks and someone else wins, the headline isn't that
Yeah.
and a guy won. It's that Tiger sucks.
So
that he failed.
what do the people want to hear? Do they want to hear how the king failed, or do they want to hear how the rookie ended up winning?
Well, that depends if you're a glass half full or half empty guy. You probably want to hear about how the king fell, whereas Charlie Hartley would want to hear about how the rookie
Yeah.
pulled it all together and had a miraculous day on the water.
I want to see how that plays out this year, because with so many big names on the MLF side,
There's going to be big names you don't catch them.
Exactly. So are they going to discuss the fact that they're not having success, or is the focus going to be on the guy who's just blowing everybody away?
Imagine with as much post-game live streaming on the water, they're going to run out of stuff to talk about the guys who are catching
They're gonna
them. So
have
they're
to
going to
talk-
have to focus about the guys who are having a little bit of a struggle.
They're
going to
have to talk about failure.
No,
All
we got
right?
a couple
I'm looking
minutes. I
forward
want to talk. We got.
I like your assessment of this. Go ahead and set it up.
Imagine if, and I would say this, I was listening to the First Team, which is on Sirius XM. It's Taylor Zarza and Greg McElroy, he's a quarterback for Alabama, and then Zarza's a commentator, and they do a 3-hour show. I moved up. I have a 2.5-hour drive when I get in the studio. I listen to this stuff. They do a really good job of explaining it.
Yep.
But now you've got the debate, Oklahoma, Ohio State, and I'm not going to get into any of that stuff. I want to strictly relate it back to the fishing.
Do it.
And I was thinking on the way here, how crazy would it be if we picked the classic field based on a committee? And so instead of you have the Angler of the Year race. That's like the AP. That's like that. But then all the committee members get in and they go, okay, these guys are in. That's your Kevin Van Dams, your Aaron Martins, your Edwin Evers, who are way at the top, who had great years. That's your Alabama and Clemson there.
Yeah.
Then you get towards the bottom and you're looking towards matchups with lakes. So even though a Cliff Crochet might be in 35th place and the cutoff is 36, you're going, yeah, well, he doesn't really set up well for that river in Tennessee. I kind of like a Bill Lowen who's in 40th, who had a worse year, but his matchup is better. He's going to have more of a chance to have a top 10 in the Tennessee River. And then you have a guy in 50th who's like, yeah, well, he blew his motor in the first tournament and then had 3 top 10s. So can you really hold that against him? That'd be like a team that loses the first week and then comes back.
Yeah.
So then you've got all these guys in the committee room who are now deciding it based on, this guy, he has a great regular season. He's never had a top 20 in the Classic. So why would we put him in here when you've got a guy who's made 3 Classics and has 3 tops 10s? His upside and potential on the Tennessee River is much greater than this angler who always sucks in the Classic.
Yeah.
And then you have all this discussion and you base your Classic
It wouldn't
field
work.
on a committee room.
Dude, it wouldn't
where you have
work.
strengths of schedule, how they match up, their fan base, how they're interested,
Would not work.
how they ended up where they are in the season.
Would not work. People would be.
It would be like the football discussion.
It would be chaos.
It would be kind of fun, though. I'm not advocating this or anything. I'm just saying you keep all the metrics the way it is now, but then you start picking them based on.
That's why the way football's set up right now is ridiculous. They should at least go to an 8-team playoff, reduce the cookie game that they have at the beginning of the year where they play Troy or whoever it is.
This guy finished 75th in the first 3 tournaments, but boy, something clicked. He's riding a lot of momentum, and he's 50th in the points. But man, he's got a lot of momentum going into the Classic. We're going to pick him over someone who had 3 top 15s
chaos.
and then.
It's not fair.
You could do
it's not fair.
I'm not saying it's fair. I'm just saying it would be fun.
It would,
especially for guys like us.
All right, Maynard wants to know any idea where Charlie Hartley's fishing next year.
He's down in Florida now. I'm sure he's fishing the Opens.
Yeah.
He goes down to Florida and he throws a tiny torpedo and a black trickworm for 15 hours a day, and every once in a while he throws in some snook and some redfish and lives the life.
All right, we're going to come back here on a Tuesday, kicking things off this week with Gary Clouse. Everybody stay warm. We'll be right back.
Sleek new design with easy control file. The clearest images underwater with uncompromising range. Live mapping from the touchscreen. View notifications, video, even Google Maps on screen. And for the first time ever, real-time view of fish movements with live sight sonar. HDS Live. New from Lowrance.
Jacob Wheeler and Tommy Biffle have a lot in common.
Flat bill.
The perfect shape.
You gotta love some light tackle.
I know I have a spinning rod.
I love my hammer crawl.
Biffle bug
Rigged.
on a hardhead.
Well, they could be twins. Bifflebug, Hammer Crawl, Hardhead, from Gene LaRue.
Let me help you, man.
Let me help that hat. There you go. I already look better.
Pros depend on hydraulic jack plates to get the best out of their boats. Do what they do. Demand Atlas performance. Atlas gets you from the bottom to the top in less than 8 seconds, even with the big 4-strokes. And when you gotta turn right around and get that heavy load back up in rough water, Atlas's innovative design and American-made components will get you there with confidence.
I'm Mike Defo. Just look for yourself. There's an Atlas jack plate on just about every professional's boat.
The Atlas hydraulic jack plate. You can depend on it.
My rods look different because they are different. Every rod is built by the pros and for the pros. When you pick up a white Duckett fishing rod, you're getting a cutting-edge rod, one that's truly pro-driven with the actions you need for every bait category you fish. I put my name on it. It's my promise to build you a great rod you can count on.
Duckett Fishing, Micro Magic, Macro Magic, or White Ice.
Try them. They work.
Man, I am so excited to be joining the AFCO Pro staff. They got some really cool, innovative products to help you have a more enjoyable, comfortable day while you're out there on the water. Really stylish, great functional clothing. You're gonna love it. The thing I'm most excited about though is AFCO has pledged to donate 10% of their total profits back to supporting the conservation of our fisheries, and I am all about supporting a company that's about supporting conservation so that we can enjoy our bass fishing for a long time. Check us out, AFCO.
When I talk about Sunline, I think of one word: confidence.
Sunline FX2 is what I use for all of my frogging and flipping.
S61 braid, which braid plays a big part in fishing line.
Shooter, I'm going to use in those close quarter deals like flipping and pitching.
One of my favorite techniques in fishing the tournament trail is to fish offshore ledges.
We have taken the questions out of the equation.
Take my word for it. It works. It works, dude.
All right, we are back, kicking off the week. Got all the Christmas stuff put up too, Matthew.
You're just Susie Homemaker over
No,
there.
I don't know. No, that's
Thanksgiving Day, the Christmas. You've been working on your yard. Have you done it? Did you look in the front yard? I haven't heard anything about this, so I'm guessing I got away with it.
Well, what'd you do? Did you run over my grass?
I did. Like 2 weeks ago, and it had been raining, and I was trying to pull the car to the side. I was with Kinder on the way back, and she dropped me off, and it was dark, and I thought I was backing up on the side, and I looked back, and I was like, oh, no, he's been doing so much yard work, and now I've got a tire rut in his yard. I said, he's going to take it out of my paycheck.
Hey, I forgot to ask you, how in the heck did she get that horse trailer out of our addition with all the construction going on?
Oh, you think the Elite Series pros can back a boat up into a place? With that gooseneck,
how did that? There wasn't
the best,
enough room.
My girlfriend is the best trailer backer upper that I've ever seen.
But you're not backing up. You're going forward.
I know she's the best trailer tower. We put it at Eufaula on out there in Porham, and we use the other ramp, kind of a sketchy ramp. And she's like, "Hey, can I try?" And I was like,
she backs up horse trailers. Come on.
Well, I'd seen her, and I went. Yeah, go for first time. It takes me like 3 times on that one on the side there. Just dropped it right in the lake. I said, okay.
She's a professional. By the way, how'd she do last night? You were out in the cold watching her.
Oh, she won.
Where was this at?
Muskogee.
Outdoors while it's 30 degrees?
Yeah. She won on one horse, and then she dead centered the second barrel on the other, and she had.
What was the crowd like?
Well, it's like a jackpot weigh-in. I mean, it's just, if you're not in it, I mean, there's a few dedicated
they have
family members.
Barrel racing.
Oh, yeah, every single night.
Really?
Yeah, she got first in the 1D and got like $200. It's just like, and there are like 60-some horses. It's just like the Wednesday nighter at Thunderbird.
I had no idea. Yeah. No idea. All right, it is time to bring in our guest. He's going to be live via Skype, and let me get him queued up here. Gary, you there, man?
I am here.
How you doing? You're looking very relaxed here after the holiday. Did you have a good holiday?
I am relaxed. Yeah, I had a great holiday. Thank you.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking time out, and I'm going to jump right in because I know a lot of people are probably wanting to know. I know there's been a couple of comments on the instant feedback. You made the decision originally to fish the new Major League Fishing Tour, and then suddenly you made the decision, nope, I'm going to fish the Bassmaster Elite Series. What can you tell us and the fans about that decision and the process that you went through?
Well, to be quite honest, I love the game of bass fishing. I have since I was 14 years old, and it was a really tough decision, a tough week, tough month for me personally to make those decisions. A little bit different position than a lot of the guys. I had not got the invite to the elites when I got the invite to Major League Fishing, and accepted Major League Fishing. Then I got the invite to the elites. And, it was a tough thing. I've spent, I guess the bottom line to it is I'd spent so many years on that quest to fish the Elite Series and try to get in the Bassmaster Classic. And then I felt like I was cutting myself short by not doing that. So right or wrong, we'll see how it works out. But right or wrong, I made the decision to go back to the Elites, and that's where I'm going.
I finished 18th in the Central Opens this year, 75th, 27th, 10th, and I believe a 23rd place finish this year to get that Elite Series invite. But, you look back at your resume with Bass, Gary, and I will talk about some of the other things that you've accomplished in the fishing world later. But you fished those Opens year in and year out for about the past 8 or 9 years. And, we know Boyd. We have Boyd Duckett on the show a lot, and we always talk about how amazing it is that he's able to compartmentalize his tournament weeks with all the other stuff he has going on in his life, which is crazy. You're kind of in that same position with Phoenix Boats, being a businessman and all that. Has it been difficult for you to be able to compartmentalize and focus on the fishing when it's time to fish and then keep the business stuff running on the side? Do you think that has been kind of maybe why it took a couple more years to reach one of the tour levels?
Well, yeah, it could be that, or maybe I just wasn't good enough. Who knows? I think for me, when I started fishing the Opens, I guess it's 7 or 8 years ago. You probably know more better than I do. You've looked it up. But, I think at that time in the cycle of the Phoenix business, we were in a different place. Now the company's to a point where I've got some people here in this organization that just absolutely amazing people that I trust, and when I walk away, I can turn it off. Teresa Johnson, to be quite honest, is like a sister to me. And, a lot of the guys out there know she really runs the place while I go fishing, and I'll just go ahead and say it. But that is it, and that's probably true. Early on, I worried more about the business when I was away, and today I don't.
You won the PAA Angler of the Year in 2012, and the PAA actually hired me to cover that year. I went to all the PAAs, Mark. It was crazy.
I remember that.
I got paid in the same line that the anglers got paid in. So while they were waiting to get the check, I would stand there and get the check for writing about it and covering it. But I was looking back at the list on that year that you won the Angler of the Year. You got Steve Kennedy, Dean Rojas, Mark Menendez, James Niggemeyer, Casey Ashley, Greg Hackney, Todd Otten, the legend, Harold Allen, Mike McClellan, Randy Howell. You get the point there. There's a lot of good guys that fished it that year, and you came out on top with the crown. Talk a little bit about that year, and obviously the PAA is not around anymore, but that's a pretty cool accomplishment to have under your belt. And then it seemed like your kind of uptick in the Opens kind of picked up after you got that title under your belt too, as far as top 10 and good finishes. Was that big in your development as an angler on the water?
Yeah, I think so. I think that gave me some confidence in my abilities probably, and I've always done better in tournaments, to be quite honest, in tournaments without a co-angler. And I think that helped in the PAA side of it. And I'm looking forward to the Elite Series, to have that. But going back a little bit to the PAAs, I remember, I was thinking about the last time I was at Lanier, which will be the second tournament on the Elite Series stop this year. I think that's the last time I was on Lanier, was in that PAA. You was probably at that one. I'm not sure if you were not. Yeah, that was a good tournament. I think, I can't remember the guy that won. That local guy down there won, if I remember right. But anyway, that's the last time I was on Lanier. So,
Gary, looking at 2019 and your quest on the Elite Series, what's going to be the biggest challenge for you to have success in 2019?
The biggest challenge, gosh, I don't know. I guess it's the same challenge it always is. I think, I guess, looking at it objectively, the most of the lakes I've not been to that much. St. John's River, I was there many years ago. Lanier, it's been 10 years ago at least, or I'm not sure how many years ago. Hartwell I've never been to. Linyaw Bay I've never been to. Gunnersville I have some, of course, right down the road over the hill here. St. Lawrence I've been there some. So many of the lakes I've not been to, so that'll be the challenge for me.
Are you a pre-practice guy? Like, are you carving out time to go there before it, or is it just show up 2.5 days of practice and get after it?
No, I think I'll pre-practice. That's what I did like about Major League Fishing, to be quite honest. And I've said this before, kind of circling back to Major League Fishing in just a second. But the Opens and the Elite Series, I've always said they're work. They're much more work than my experience in Major League Fishing. We would show up at Major League Fishing, and you wouldn't really, the format that we fished in the last 4 years in the selects, we didn't know where we're going. You just rig a bunch of rods up, show up, throw them in the boat, and get it done, or not get it done. And that was fun. That was a lot of fun to me to do that. And I've said on camera many times there that if they had 8 or 9 of those, I wouldn't do anything else. Well, here I am. So, I mean, figure it out, I think there's a lot of work ahead of me in the Elite Series, and now I'm going to fish for the Opens too. So I've got a full plate ahead of me.
Gary, what format do you prefer? The best 5 or weighing every fish counts?
Well, I think just to look at the sport itself, contrary to what I like better, I think the future of the sport is weighing the fish in the boat and turning them loose in the boat. I believe that. I think that's where that's where the sport needs to go, and I may be stepping on some people's toes for saying this, but I believe it in my heart that that's where it should go, where it needs to go, and where it will go ultimately. Best 5, or catch numbers. I don't know that I really care. I do think though that weighing them in the boat and turning them loose and not carrying them all over the place and risk killing them is the future.
All right, I'm curious about this. With all of the coverage that's going to take place on all 3 major tours next year from a live perspective, are we getting to the point where there's going to be too much live or too much information out there and saturation begins to occur, especially when you have the overlap that there's 2 times, Matthew, is that right, where you have all 3 tours going on at the same time?
Correct.
Have we gotten to the point now where there's going to be too much stuff out there?
I don't know. I guess that's possible. I think that you're going to find that you'll have fans that follow their trail, whatever trail they have an affinity for, whether it be Major League Fishing, Bass, or FLW. And then you'll have some of the hardcore fans that follow all of it. And you could get some of that. I really do. I really would like to, ultimately, I'd like to see this thing evolve where there is one major organization that is the organization, and not have this thing all fractured up. I'd like to see that. And I feel like that when that can happen, then we can have some TV coverage, like Major League Fishing is trying to do. That will get us closer to bass fishing being it will never be on the level of golf or anything, or NFL or something like that, but take it to another level above where it's at today. And I think that can be done ultimately. I'm not sure how it'll all shake out. It remains to be seen how, what Major League Fishing does, how Bass reacts to what's happening there, and how this all shakes out. I think the next 2 or 3 years of bass fishing is going to be very interesting.
I want to kind of stick where we mentioned the live stuff. I'll kind of piggyback on that, and I'm about to make Mark very proud because it's a semi-business question. It's not a strict fishing question. Okay. It's a little business question. But, you've had, with Phoenix guys, a lot of success, a lot of days of live there with Justin Lucas and Greg Hackney and Aaron Martins. As a president of the company, you started the Phoenix Boats. How valuable is that to you to be able to turn that on 2-3 straight days and see guys, boat flipping 3-4 pound smallmouth right there on the Phoenix logo on the front of the boat, and having a bunch of those guys in your product excelling for hours at a time on live internet coverage to a target audience?
Well, it's valuable, absolutely. But for me personally, it's humbling and fulfilling for me to know where this company was at 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and to see those names that have put their trust in myself and in Phoenix Boats and the people that work here to run our product and promote it, and it's very humbling and fulfilling.
Gary, what is the most difficult thing to do right now in running a boat business?
Build enough boats right now in the climate we're in. And I think that's the way for everybody. The business is very good right now, and most companies are behind on production. I believe, I know we are, and I think most other bass boat companies are too. There's the motor companies are having a little bit of problem keeping up shipping motors. So right now the demand is outrunning the supply. Now that's not always been the case. It's a fickle business. I've seen it the other way where, we're laying off people in December because we didn't have enough orders to carry us through, and your dealers are full of inventory and worried about selling them. But right now in the business and the economic climate that we're in, it's actually producing enough product, which we're trying to answer that. We've got a 50,000 square foot building going up right behind my office here, which would give us 120 or 130,000 manufacturing space, and we've got a couple other buildings rented for storage. But so we're growing, but right now it's keeping up with orders.
All right, I want to go back to fishing, and I asked this question a lot during the off season. When you look at the lakes and you look at the schedule for where you're going to be next year, what is the one part of your fishing game that you sit back and you go, you know what, man, I really need to get better at doing this? What would that be for you?
Gosh, I probably reacting faster to what's going on. And Major League Fishing taught me some of that, because if you don't react fast in that game, you'll go home. But you've got a few hours to do it in. But I think I get too stuck in, I think the question you're probably asking is technique-wise.
Right.
But I've spent a lot of time from Florida to New York, drop shotting to punching 2-ounce weights to cranking deep. I've spent my entire life trying to be versatile. and people ask me at times, what's my favorite way of catching them? And usually that's how I caught them last, And so I don't know. I could be a better drop shotter probably, and I could be better at this and that. But I think really I could be if when you go out there the second morning and it's not working like it was the day before, me being able to recognize that sooner and make an adjustment quicker is what I need to work on. And also, one of my biggest faults is fishing too fast. I need to slow down more than I can.
How often do you get out on the water? Just around the house, fun fishing when it's not in preparation for a tournament?
Well, that's interesting you asked that, because the last cast I made was the last day on the water in the open on Lake Douglas. So that's been almost a month and a half or 2 months ago. I haven't been on the water since. I've been here in the office. I've been working on tackle in my shop, which is, you asked about Thanksgiving holiday. That's where I spent my Black Friday. I didn't go shopping. I went to my shop. No, I haven't fished. I don't get a chance to fish that much, just fun fishing. I am going to Florida here. It's getting cold in Tennessee, and I don't like it, so I'm going to go to Florida here. I'd like to go down there in the wintertime and spend some time around Okeechobee and the south end of Kissimmee. And I do love to punch the big weight, and I'm going to go down there and spend some time doing that. Go to some of those smaller lakes that you can catch them good in, and spend some time doing that. But no, since the last tournament, I've spent more of my time working out at the gym, playing basketball, and working.
There's your in, Mark.
I'm not going to go there yet because I want an answer to another question before we talk a little hoops there. I'm just curious, Gary, with all of your history in the boat business and fishing, why are two areas kind of the mecca when it comes to boat building, specifically Northwest Arkansas and Tennessee? Why is that?
It's just the spin-offs of companies. If you go back to the history of Tennessee boat building, it goes clear back to Hydro Sports.
Yeah.
Hydro Sports was here and ProCraft was here. And it all kind of stemmed from that. Earl Benson left Hydro Sport and went to Stratus and went to Triton. And I started my career at Stratus and went to Triton and started Phoenix. And it's spin-offs, and Arkansas the same way. There's Bass Cat and that was, and then Ranger and spin-off of that. So I think it's just people. It's a workforce. It's a passion. I think most of us in the business. It's a passion. There's probably something else I could have done with my life that was a whole lot easier to make more money besides bass fishing and bass boats.
When you first got into the industry, though, did you see it as a way to get in so you could then become a professional angler and fish, or did you want to get into the boat business and then the fishing bug bit you? How did that all work? Because, you also fished a bunch in the 80s.
I did. I started, I fished my first bass tournament when I was 14, and fishing the Bass Club, and moved my way up, started fishing at my first Bassmaster tournament was actually Lake of the Ozarks. I believe it was 81. Guido Hidden won that tournament. I'll never forget it. But my passion for bass fishing started at a young age, and I just followed that passion. And I really didn't have a plan. I wish I could tell you I had this all planned out in my life, but I didn't. I just followed my passion wherever it went and worked hard. And gosh, it's a crazy story, but it's worked out well for me.
All right, Gary, this is kind of out there, but being an angler and being the man that runs Phoenix Boats, I'm curious, would there ever be a possibility, and I know everybody's schedule is jam-packed, nobody has any time yet, but you fish the Opens, obviously going to fish the Elite Series. Rick Pierce at Bass Cat Boats has fished the Opens and has been involved in the industry. Could there be a point in time where we could see not a pay-per-view event, but an event where you have Phoenix versus Bass Cat? You're the team captain. Rick is the team captain.
And I think you throw Earl and forest in the back of the boat.
Hey, I think the fans would get a great deal of enjoyment seeing you go up against another competitive boat company and live stream the whole thing and see what happens. What do you think about that?
I've actually brought that up to somebody. It could have been, I can't think who I brought this up to. Somebody at Major League Fishing, I think. I think Greg Hackney and I talked about this. I would welcome that. I would love to do that.
All right. Well, here, I'm giving you a chance right now. Go ahead and call out Rick.
Are you asking him to
now.
call out Rick Pierce on the show? This was not in the pre-planning.
We're just having a little fun is all we're doing. That's all we're doing here.
I think that would be great. You know, I was, maybe I should call Boyd about that. He's, maybe he could put something together.
All right, good deal. Now, a number of people on the instant feedback. Can you talk or can you discuss anything about the situation with Yamaha?
What situation you talking about?
I guess they're referring to the availability of product and the number of units.
I'm happy to talk what I know about it, which is very little. It seems that something going on with production, as I understand it, and we're struggling to get motors. But that's all I can answer for that.
Okay.
And I can't answer that for any of the other companies. I suspect that if I was in Yamaha's position, and I would ship my motors for Skeeter too. I would, so. I don't know what's going on there. They've kept that pretty close to the vest. Yamaha builds a great motor, and we sell a good number of them. We can sell more if we could get more. But that's really all I know about that.
Okay, now I'm going to mention it because when I was looking at your profile on the Bassmaster website, it said that one of your hobbies was basketball. And when we set this up, I mean, you're still actively playing. Is that true?
Well, I try. Yeah, I leave here. When I can, I leave the office at 2 or 3 o'clock, and I go to the gym. If there's some guys there, we'll play some. But I love the game. I played ball in high school, a little town in Missouri. Grew up in Mansfield, Missouri. Played ball in high school, and I've really played ever since. It's probably the only of the three sports: basketball, baseball, football. The only one I was really any good at. So,
all right. Are you a fan of the college game?
I am to some degree. I don't keep track of it like a lot do, but I do some. Okay.
Is Mansfield in Douglas County?
It's actually in Wright County, which is just north of Douglas County.
Okay.
So, yeah, you're in the right area.
Where are you going with this?
Do you know where Rockbridge is?
I do.
All right. Rockbridge is one of the coolest places that I've been to because it's one of the few places that I know. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of them up north. But at Rockbridge, you can actually go out, catch trout, and then take that trout and go into the restaurant and actually eat the trout that you catch right then. It's pretty cool.
I was there a long time ago. That's south of where I grew up, about, I guess, 30, 40 miles probably.
Is that what you used to do with your dad?
No, that's where my mom was born and raised, and that's how I knew about
little
that.
stalker rainbows?
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous down there. It's not too far from where Rick Clunn lives.
Yeah, that's interesting. I grew up in Mansfield and lived there till I was in my 20s, and moved to Tennessee. And my boyhood hero was Ricky Clunn. I had his picture of him on my wall in my bedroom when he was winning all the classics in the 70s, so he was like my hero. And then I leave Mansfield, and he moves to Ava 15 miles from where I grew up. So.
Well, you'll be seeing plenty of him this year.
Yeah, you will.
Okay, well, I love Rick. He and I talk a lot. Got to know him pretty well over the years fishing the Opens. He fishes the Central Open still. They're dead. And he and I talk quite a bit. And I told him the other day, I hope I'm going as strong when I'm 70 as he is. I mean, he's amazing. 70 years old, still getting it done. I sure hope I can do that.
Absolutely. So, what are your goals for 2019, Gary? I mean, have you thought about that, or are you just going to kind of go with the flow?
Well, obviously, the main goal is to qualify for the Bassmaster Classic. That's everyone's goal that fishes the Olympics. But it's stay healthy, fish hard, have fun, and hope to qualify for the Classic.
It's interesting because I was reading everything that you've got on your website and some of the articles and your social media posts, and sure, everyone says they want to qualify for the Bassmaster Classic, but it seems with you that has a real special place in your heart. You look at the when you announced you went for the Elite Series. I'll just read a quote for our listeners. It said, "I may be the only angler in professional fishing that doesn't care about payouts or entry fees at all. All I care about is making it onto that stage and realizing the stream that I'm so passionate about." And then in a previous sentence, you said, "I had to follow my heart. My heart has been chasing the dream of the Bassmaster Classic for so long." What is it about that Bassmaster Classic that really, it seems like, was the driving factor in you not fishing the Bass Pro Tour and moving to the Elite Series?
It was the only factor. For me, and Boyd and I, just to recap a little bit, Boyd Duck and I had a long conversation about this, and I appreciate so much his understanding of this. He got it, and he gets it because he's been there. Most of the guys over there have been in the Classic and won the Classic. And so it was kind of like they've been there, done that. For me, that was not the case at all. And I think going back to, I guess when I was 14 or 15 years old and getting those Bassmaster magazines and seeing Rick Clunn and Larry Nixon and those guys on that stage, it's been in my heart for that many years. And no, I don't care about entry fees, payout. I do it for free, So I don't mean that in any disrespectful way to anybody, but that's just how I feel about it. It's in my heart, and that's you hit it on the head. There is really no other factor.
All right, last question. What is that picture that's behind you over your left shoulder?
Oh, that is, you talking about the flag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or this picture.
That picture there, over that one there.
This one. This is actually a picture of a friend of mine, Myron Bruffett, and I were fishing Okeechobee, and looks like it says 16. And he took this picture with his cell phone. This was one evening late when we were flipping these round reeds, and we'd had a really good day. Wasn't a lot of big fish, but we caught several fish. And he took that picture on his cell phone and gave it to me for Christmas. So that's a cool picture. That's just a picture of me in a silhouette fishing Okeechobee.
Is that the cool PAA Angler of the Year trophy up there too?
Yeah, that's the trophy for 2012. Yes.
Very nice.
And then we see a cup. What's the cup?
Oh, that's the you get that. That's cool.
You always pick up a cup when you get a chance to hold the cup.
Oh, great. That's we sponsor Bobby Lane's Kids Cup. It's a tournament that he has in Florida every year. Matter of fact, December 8th this year, I think Elliott's going to be there. But this is the cup that he presented us for sponsoring his kids' event.
Very nice. And then what's the flag? It looks like crankbaits.
Yeah, it is. We bought that at the silent auction at the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame banquet. It was in Bass Pro Shop. Well, there's one this year. We bought that picture last year. But it's made out of crankbaits. It's an American flag made out of crankbaits.
That's cool.
Original Wiggleworts?
No.
No?
No. Not at all. All right, Gary, man, we really, really appreciate you taking time out and informing us and the fans about some of the stuff that you have going on. So you're welcome anytime, and we wish you nothing but the best in 2019, and hopefully you have a good holiday season, man.
Well, let's do this again since I've got Skype figured out.
Yeah.
Oh, it was easy. It was one of the easiest Skype setups we've had.
It was.
So I got a question for y'all. So who was the hardest person to get Skype figured out of?
It was this Steve Kennedy interview.
Yeah.
When they were doing something, a cherry picker basket knocked over a telephone pole, and he was in like a dimly lit living room with an Auburn flag behind him.
It was a disaster, but it turned out okay.
Oh, it turned out into the awesome one. And then the Aaron Martins one, when we had him on Skype, was interesting too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to get him to identify types. It was one of my ideas. It was 100% me, Gary. It was not. We were having some issues with the Skype, and I thought it would be funny since he's a cat guy and Mark is a cat guy. If I got like 5 different types of cats, like Himalayan and stuff, and was like, see if he could identify the cat meow based on the noise. And what happened was he couldn't hear it through his Skype, but we could hear it. Mark thought he had turned him down, and for a 10-minute interview, there's cats meowing in the background because he had just turned down the volume on our headsets, not on the show volume. So here's Aaron trying to talk about serious stuff, and in the background it's just Himalayan cats going nuts.
Yeah.
That's an army. That's an army.
Yeah.
All right, Gary, man, have a great Christmas, and we will talk to you soon. We will get you back on next year.
Let's
All right,
do it
man.
again.
All right. See ya.
All right.
All right, there you have it, Gary Clouse. Good stuff, Matthew. Very good.
It sounds like he's following his dream.
Yeah, and it was neat to hear him talk about the Classic and how important the Classic is to him. And we've talked about it before, man. The vibe in the 2019 Classic is going to be really weird. I think one of your prop bets is the over-under on the number of people that cry.
I think the anglers are, and I've talked to some of them. I've talked to a number of them that are in it. They're kind of nervous about it too. They don't know how it's going to go down.
I told you, man. It's kind of like you're going back to your girlfriend after you just got married.
Right, but none of them have any, that I've talked to, have any ill will. I mean, the biggest thing they want to do is win the Classic still.
That's why I want to know. That's why I'm going to ask you.
So they're like, this is going to be weird.
Show.
The guys at Bass are like, this is going to be weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the best way to do it, I feel like you got to address the elephant in the room. You can't just go on and act like it's not going to happen.
It will not be addressed.
I don't think it will either, but don't you think the best way is to...
How are you going to address it? The anglers could. It's like, look, Bass, they're going to say the same thing. They're going to say the same exact thing. Bass has meant a lot to me, blah, blah, blah,
I think
blah,
Bass
blah. I'm
needs
glad to be here.
Badass intro at the beginning that just hammers home the history of the Classic and highlights all that. But
you might get a few tears on that.
Absolutely, but I think Mercer's got to address. He's got to go, Kevin.
I'm going to ask
Kevin,
you a question.
You got 4 Classics under your belt. This is the last one you'll be fishing.
Do they put together, like what happened when LeBron went back to Cleveland, now that he's with the Lakers, do they put together a KVD video montage of him, maybe Rick Klein?
Well, not but Rick's still fishing it.
But maybe Kevin?
I think that'd be the classy thing to do.
I think it'd be a cool
it would
idea.
Be very, very cool. Now no one's saying Kevin won't ever fish a Classic again.
Yeah. Heck, he may fish the Opens. Probably not.
Oh, give me a break.
No. Would it be cool, and I know they've kind of done this, but would it be neat to, and I'm not talking like what Brandon Polinick did, I mean, truly follow the guy 24/7 for the most part?
What guy?
For 30 solid days.
Who?
Kevin.
Oh, he would punch you in the face after about day 4. Have you've been around him? That guy moves so fast. You would keel over his exhaustion trying to track him.
Yeah.
I don't think he would that would not get past the boss.
No.
You couldn't even get. I mean, you had to go through 8. You had to go through a lie detector and a background check to get 15 minutes in the man cave.
No, I did not.
In the tackle room.
No, that was a memorable trip.
It would be cool, but yeah, it's going to be rapidly approaching. And the weird thing is, you're going to have guys who have won an MLF event before they get on the Classic stage, and they're going to have jerseys made with the Bass patch on it.
Yeah.
And they'll have to have jerseys made with the MLF.
Do you think
logo
any of the
on
guys are going to cut a deal with companies?
A one-time deal just for the Classic?
Yeah. Have you thought about that?
I have. I think that's a smart deal.
Business move?
There's a number of guys that are like a Wesley Strader.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, take a guy who's going to be one of the odds-on favorites. Yep. Who's going to be one of the odds-on favorites. But you also have to understand when you're cutting those deals that most likely, and I'm sure they'll give coverage to the guys who are catching them, but most likely you're going to have to be in the mix to win if you're an MLF guy.
You think so?
I think so.
What percentage of the field did you say?
80s. of the Elite
It's gonna be
Series
hard to
anglers.
do. I mean,
of the Elite Series
unless you want to
anglers.
showcase.
I'm just saying, I think for a business plan, let's say you've got Brandon Lester in fourth, and Edwin in third.
Yeah.
Would you not think that even though they both have cameras, there might be a little bit more full screen on the old Brandon Lester?
I don't know. By the way, have we heard from Mark Zona? Is he in? Is he?
He's your buddy. Call him up. Have him on.
I'm just asking you. I mean, you're the social media
Have
guy.
him on. As far as I know, he's all in on bass.
I will reach out to
That
him
would be
and
a
see
good-
if
that'd be
we
a
can
good
get him
guest.
on. And see if we can get him on. Just to get his take. He's been very, very, very quiet through this whole process.
Should we do FLW Tour bingo, where we cut them all up in a bowl, shake it up, pick a name out, and that's our guest next week for what? We could pull it out of the hat on. I think we do that on the next show. I think we cut up 170 names, we put it in a hat, we shake it up, we pull it out, and then that's the guest next Thursday.
Really?
Why not? Dude, here's the deal. How cool was Gary's story?
Very good.
Have we ever had anyone on who has a sucky story?
No.
Most of the guys who we think is going to be a kind of a cut and dry interview turn out to be the coolest ones.
I had no idea he was a basketball dude.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Turn out to be the coolest ones. So here you've got all these rookies, all these guys I've never heard of.
Yeah.
There's got to be some pretty cool stories that are in there. Some pretty good personalities that are in there.
Let me look at the list and let's do this. You pick a name and let me pick a name.
No,
and then
we're not picking names. We're drawing it. We're drawing it. What is there? There's probably one name in there that you don't want out of the 170 that would be awkward. No? Or none?
No, I don't think so.
All right. I thought you got in a fight with one of the guys in like the 80s. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It was like 89 on Eufaula or something, and you got into a heated argument with one of the guys who's on the tour now.
I need to look at that list a little bit closer. It might be. I mean, I was kind of fiery back in the 80s.
It wasn't Jimmy Houston.
It wasn't Jimmy Houston. No, it wasn't. No. Did I ever... This is not a long story. Did I ever tell you the very first time you highlighted that one? Oh, yeah. That would be a little uncomfortable.
So I'm right.
Yeah. That would be a little uncomfortable.
Everyone's scouring through the...
Yeah, that would be a little... Anyway, the first time I ever met Jimmy Houston...
we also have a 1 in 170 chance of magic happening, but go ahead.
Anyway, I had to go... This was when he was still living in Cookson. Like, now, I'm not... At least I think he lives down on his ranch that's down by Arbuckle.
I just stopped at his tackle store.
Yeah, in Tahlequah, or close to Tahlequah.
Great selection of kites.
Yeah, anyway... Originally, he was living there, and this is 1988.
So this is before the internet.
Yeah, 1988.
Are you said the stage. You're
I'm
working at UPS, tucked in shirt, hair,
tie, suit, the whole deal.
Just trying to climb the corporate ladder.
And there is a damage package that has been delivered to Jimmy Houston.
Do you fish at this point?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So back then we had to get, we had these damage inspections that we had to do, and they'd come through, and then I'd open up my mail, and it would be there, internal mail, and I see a damage inspection for Jimmy Houston. Well, I was petrified. Yeah, because number one, it was a $5,000 package.
Oh, no.
I didn't really know what it was.
Hair
it just
care
said
products.
electronics.
Oh.
Is all it said. $5,000. So I drive out there.
Wait, what year? 88?
88.
Is that okay?
Couldn't find his house. Could not find his house. So I was late.
Do you normally deliver them, or did you decide it's Jimmy? I'm personally taking.
No, this was part of my job.
Oh, so it wasn't like you were like, I got this one, boys.
No. This was my job to inspect damaged packages. Part of my responsibilities when they were over $5,000.
This explains your bitterness. You spent years taking
2 years
damaged, expensive products that people have been waiting for,
story?
cold calling people at their house, and then
calling.
getting bitched out that their package was damaged.
Dude, I told you about when my condo got broken into in Muskogee because
This is why you are so bitter.
I denied
You got yelled at
$12,000 worth of claims to this
every day for
lady
years
in
with
Hugo,
a tight
Oklahoma.
necktie on and a starched
All right.
shirt working for the man. Okay,
Anyway,
continue.
I was late. I was like 30 minutes late because I could not find his house. And dude, he was pissed.
Oh, he was?
Because he made arrangements to be there so I could do the inspection. All right. So what do you think? Did I approve or deny the claim?
Oh, you approved that thing
absolutely.
before the box was even open. What was it, a flasher?
No, it was electronics. It was a box of electronics.
What type of electronics were in 88? I mean, we're not talking a carbon 12 here.
No, it was numerous. There was like a dozen of them in there.
A dozen flashers?
Yeah. In this big box.
Like a color selector?
That had been absolutely destroyed.
Weren't guys still using paper in 88?
Yeah. Absolutely.
But was the stuff destroyed in there?
Oh, yeah.
So you have to take it back.
Yeah, well, you ship it back and you give him a claim number.
So he was probably waiting to put it on his boat.
Dude, and that was the first time. So then that next spring or pre-spring, that's when the Oklahoma City Tackle Show was a big deal. I mean, at the fairgrounds and all that, and he was there, and I went up to him, and he remembered me, and he was as nice as can be to me.
Well, he was in Jimmy Houston mode.
Yeah,
I figured it had to either be
pissed, man. He was
flashers,
not happy.
Flashers, hair product, or gold chains.
He was
Those
not
are the
happy.
three things that could be sent to him.
Not happy.
Well,
so
would
that
you
was
be?
the first
He probably
time.
had a tournament the next week and was waiting to put the flasher on.
Well, he was mad, one, that his stuff had been destroyed,
right?
And then two, he was mad because I was 30 minutes late because I couldn't find his house. A nice house, too. Nice facilities, nice little warehouse
Well,
there.
yeah, that was in his heyday.
It was great stuff.
That was Jimmy's prime.
Yeah.
He was big.
But I will say this. When I left, he was as nice as can be. But he was pissed when I first got there. Not happy. Not happy. And
he's
can't
fishing
really
the tour
blame him.
this year. He's still on it. I mean, he'll still probably one of the highlights of covering professional bass fishing was when I covered the 2013 FLW Tour event, the one that Jason Christie won there in June, and Jimmy was in the hunt to win it, fishing outside of Echo Bay with a blade and a buzz bait.
Yeah.
That was so cool to see him catching the 20 and being able to interview him afterwards, and it was cool.
Yeah. All right, back on Thursday real quick. A big shout out to somebody in South Carolina. I have no idea who it was because they did not put their name on the envelope. I will give it to you, Matthew. It is lying on my kitchen counter. Somebody sent us Chick-fil-A gift cards. Said, Merry Christmas. Love the show. One for you, one for me. But no name on it.
Oh, I also got an email. People want to watch old BTL shows.
Yeah.
Can anyone? Where are those?
I don't know.
Can you make that happen, or is
We'll have to talk about that one. But whoever that is, and it wasn't Dave either.
Who sent it to you?
No.
It
was the fan in South Carolina. So many thanks. Happy holidays to that person, and we'll be back on Thursday with hopefully what?
A guest.
FLW. That's what
we're drawing Thursday for next Thursday.
Oh, okay, I got you.
You see what I'm saying? We're doing it a week out.
Yeah. All right, man. Sounds good. Everybody, be safe, stay warm. We're back on Thursday.